one thing probably at the origin of his music is the Jewish tradition, musical tradition. Sometimes Bloch wrote music after some Jewish melody, traditional melody, and put some harmonies under it. So this he did many times. But in the pieces that we have on this recording, it's never the case. It's some kind of quote of some atmosphere or some scale or some musical effects or instruments, but which is not related to some specific melody. So everything is invented by Bloch, but in a way that makes it sound like very ancient, actually. I think Bloch is very much interested in the fundamentals of the music. It means the basic interval, like a quint, like an octave, like a quart. I mean, the intervals which are appearing first in the series of the harmonics, and which gives this feeling of something very ancient. I think many people who don't know this music, they would think, oh, it sounds like ancient, but not ancient like 1900. It sounds like very primitive in the term of the beginning of the music. So this is another aspect, and then there is of course the aspect of the composers that Bloch used to like or was inspired by, and I would probably say two names, even though it's of course more than this, but one very important influence was Stravinsky, especially from the rhythmical point of view. And of course, all the French composer, mostly Debussy, that you can see in the way that he's writing for the piano, in the texture, that many things are really very much making you think like it's this kind of texture of the sound. So I think these are the basic influence, but yet one bar of Bloch or one piece of Bloch sounds just like Bloch. Even though there is this influence, he has a language of himself that he managed to create, which is not the one of Stravinsky, not the one of Bartók, not the one of Debussy, and so on. And that's what makes it so special, like all the great genius, that you can recognize immediately the musical universe. And this he managed to do in the three pieces that we record in three very different ways, between the probably the roughest and the most dramatic first violin and piano sonatas, with a lot of dissonance, with a very physical way, I would say, of thinking the music. You have the feelings that he didn't start from something intellectual where he thought, okay, it has to be this note. No, it really started to playing this on the violin or playing this on the piano, and going to really very big extremes in terms of sound. The second violin and piano sonata, which is something much more esoteric, Poème mystique it's called, and which is in the texture of the sound something much lighter and also with less dissonant harmonies. Bloch is not afraid in 1920s of writing some very tonal harmonies, and in the piano sonata, which is from the 30s, you have a lot this kind of way of putting two tonal chords but we don't belong to each other together in order to make this sound not tonal. And also one thing maybe that is important to say is that Bloch in any piece is writing in a way that is taking one motif, one short melody most of the time, and it's going to go through the whole piece and get a lot of different variations or different lighting, I could say. This is the so-called way of making the impression of a cycle. So it starts with a motif, and within the 20 or 30 minutes of the piece it will have a lot of developments, and at the end it will sound in a different way after all the experience that the theme went through. And so this is almost in all his music you have this feeling of very big unity, because starting from a very simple material is going to develop it in a very rich way.